Okay, so we got a handful of picks to get into, but before we do get into that, I gotta ask you about the story of the week. Of course, it is Deion Sanders and Colorado. And hey, I'm a big Deion Sanders fan. I think most people are. I own both his baseball rookie card and his football rookie card, so I am a big fan. But I got to say, yeah, that was a big win in week one, but that was a massive victory lap that he took. So where do you stand? Where do you lean on this? On one side, is it, okay, guys, let's pump the brakes here a little bit. It's one win. Or do you lean the other way and think, hey, Colorado might be a little bit better than we thought they were going to be?
Yeah, let me preface by saying coming into the season, I upgraded Colorado's power rating more than any team in the country, and actually talked myself into betting them against TCU plus 21.5. It's just one of obviously many bets since I like to basically bet the board, so to speak. But after that performance, I mean, obviously winning outright as a 3-touchdown underdog, you got to significantly upgrade their power rating. In fact, again, I upgraded Colorado's power rating more than any other team in the country. With that being said, even though those two massive upgrades, market is upgrading Colorado more than I would be comfortable with the team. So it's a great story. It's good for college football. I think it could be possibly good for the betting markets. There's already talks that this could possibly be one of the most bet regular season games in college football history this weekend between Colorado and Nebraska. I'm more the pump the brakes. Not buying everything yet. Let's get another data point here. And that's one of the major reasons. I'll just lead into it. I think there's too much love right now for Colorado. Give me Nebraska plus the 3. Let's keep in mind, last week you could have bet this game at multiple sportsbooks. Nebraska was like an 8-point favorite. Now they're a 3-point underdog. Yes, you massively upgrade Colorado, but you also had to upgrade Nebraska. They should have won outright on the road at Minnesota as a touchdown underdog. In fact, they still almost won despite the fact being -3 in turnovers. So value, at least in my power ratings, value on Nebraska this week.
Nebraska. Okay, so let's talk about a few other bigger games this week. Of course, Saturday night in prime time, we're going to have Alabama, Texas getting after it, a total of 54.5. And you like to play on the total. What are you looking at here?
Yeah, I'm going to go under 54.5. And I'll preface by saying originally when because I'm a guy that likes to bet on Sunday morning for the upcoming week as far as college football goes, my initial gut said over. And then I did, some deep diving on this matchup. And then I rewatched both of these teams' games from week one. And I'm not, the counting stats were really good on Jalen Milroe for Alabama. I don't think so. I mean, rewatching that, I think it was a little more fluky. Obviously, he's going to get much more resistance from Texas's defense, particularly the defensive line. And then I'll also say on the other side, I'm still not buying Quinn Ewers in a big time, road atmosphere in a place where Alabama's only lost 2 home games in 10 plus years. I think both offenses struggle out of the gate. We might get something similar to last year. It was a 20-19 final. But we'll be happy if as long as they score 54 points or less. Just put it that way.
Okay, another murky matchup. Then we'll get into your best bets. We have Texas A&M, Miami, and another play on the total. What are you looking at here?
Yeah, I'm going to go over the total, and mainly it's because of what we saw last week. Improvements from both teams' passing offense. I think Texas A&M's wide receiver core could be among the best in the entire country. Evan Stewart was a kid that I already liked coming into the season. Noah Thomas is the kid that's 6'5" and had 3 touchdown receptions. Connor Wigman was incredible, 5 touchdowns, 0 receptions. Obviously, he's playing a better defense this week than what he faced in New Mexico last week, but I like significant improvement over what they had in offense last year. Similarly, Miami similarly improved when it comes to their passing offense. Tyler Van Dyke's healthy. Restrepo, his safety valve at slot receiver, he's healthy, unlike what was happening for a majority of last season. So let's go over 51, Texas A&M, Miami.
Okay, those are the big games, but let's get into your favorite bets, maybe some under the radar spots, if you will. Texas State, UTSA getting after it. A total, kind of a high one, 65.5. Is it too high or not high enough? What do you think?
Yeah, not high enough. Buy price, we'll call it 67. As long as you're getting 67 or less on this one, let's go over the total. And again, it's a fundamental change as far as this handicap goes for one of the teams, that being Texas State. They hired a new coach. He's from Incarnate Word. They run more tempo than anybody in the FCS last year. He comes in week 1 against a good Baylor defense, 42 points on the board. And their defense is still pretty bad because Baylor still put up 500 yards. And I'm here to tell you that game last week with Texas State had a combined 73 points, and a lot of points were still left on the board. Speaking of points left on the board, you look at UTSA's final last week against Houston, 17-14. That doesn't inspire a lot of confidence to want to bet a total in the mid-60s over here, but there was a lot of points left on the board for UTSA last week. They moved the football over 400 yards. They just turnovers did them in. 3 interceptions from their outstanding 7-year quarterback, Frank Harris. So I don't expect that to be the case this week. I know it's a higher total, but we're going over the total. I think this one ends up in the 70s.
Okay, last but not least, we got Southern Miss, Florida State, and you have a play on the first half spread. What are we looking at?
Yeah, so we'll dive into the derivative market, and we're going to play against Florida State, who had arguably the biggest win of week 1. I mean, beating a top 5 opponent in LSU. And I think there might be a little bit of a lackadaisical effort, at least to start off the game. I know they'll be fired up there, first home game and whatnot, but one less day to prep. Keep in mind the LSU game was a very physical game. Score said it was a blowout. It really wasn't. It was close neck and neck there for a majority of the first 3 quarters, played on a Sunday. And Southern Miss, to me, really good, stout defense. Frank Gore's still there at running back. We just need a score here in the first half. So I think it's a little bit of a sluggish start for Florida State. Let's go plus 17 or more. If you can find 17.5, that would be ideal, but 17 or more on Southern Miss in the first half.